Oh, there are so many yummy vegetarian options out there. You could try like lentil soup, veggie burgers, tofu stir fry. The possibilities are endless.
You know, choices, they don't hurt right away. Nah, they settle in first. They find a home in all those quiet spaces, that little hesitation before you reply to a text, the shared glance that, well, just doesn't linger anymore. That comfortable silence that suddenly started to feel just a little bit empty.
It all began so quietly. You really could have missed it. It was like a season of change where everything on the surface, it still held its familiar shape. But underneath, the foundations had already begun to shift. So picture this. It's morning on campus, and Tanae and Mira, they're walking side by side, their rhythm is just familiar. They aren't holding hands or anything, but they don't need to. There's this ease between them, like a little self-contained world built on inside jokes and shared smiles. He says something, and her laughter, it's just bright and totally genuine. And here's the thing. There was no big announcement, no declaration to the group. There just didn't need to be. Their new alignment, it was a fact that was established not by words, but by the simple, repeated act of them just showing up together. It was a silent statement that a boundary had been redrawn. And walking just a few paces behind, Rhea sees them. She sees that comfortable space they're occupying. She doesn't call out to them. She doesn't stop walking entirely. She just slows her pace, just enough to let the distance between them grow. It was this small, almost instinctive retreat. And that's when the adjustments began. Just small calibrations at first. These tiny little shifts in position, in presence, that, over time, would stop feeling so small at all. See, Rhea didn't make some grand exit. She didn't just up and leave the group. No. Instead, she began to adjust her position inside its new architecture. She found a different orbit, a little further from the center, a quieter corner from which to just observe. So, in the library, she starts picking a table for one. And then later, in the noise of the canteen, she takes the last empty seat at their table. And Mira, she just shifts in her chair. It's an almost imperceptible movement, really, but it's enough. It closes the space next to Tane, leaving Rhea right there on the edge. The thing is, it wasn't a hostile act. And that's precisely what made it so effective. And this new geometry of their friendship, it was being reinforced by a whole new kind of language, one that was built entirely on things left unsaid. That evening, a text from Tanae arrives on Rhea's phone. Just 2 words, "You okay?" It's a check-in, Not a conversation. It's a question that's just seeking a simple answer, not a real invitation to explain this growing silence. She lets the message just sit there for a while before typing back, "Yeah, just busy." The reply from him, it comes almost instantly. "Cool." And with that one single word, the door just closes. The space between them is preserved. And this is how the real distance grows. Not in the heat of arguments, not in the fire of some big conflict, but in the cold, empty space of unfinished sentences. So what was once just this subtle feeling, it soon became a tangible reality. A connection that wasn't just fading away, but one that was being actively overwritten. Okay, so during a group project meeting, as they're dividing up the work, Mira speaks up. "I can handle most of it," she says, gently. "I have time." Tanai nods. He's visibly relieved. But Rhea, she says nothing, not a word, even though she was already handling half the notes. Her role is just simply absorb. And in that moment, for the very first time, Rhea felt it, really felt it. She was being replaced. And not because she had failed or fallen short or anything like that, but simply because she had stayed quiet. Later that night, she finds herself just scrolling through her old chat with Tanae. Further and further back, the messages, they get longer. The replies are faster. There are questions, inside jokes. There was just more effort. She sees the ghost of a connection that was once actually tended to. And then she just locks the screen, the bright past fading to black. The final moment of understanding, it didn't come with some big surge of pain or the sharp sting of heartbreak. No, it arrived quietly, with the cold, hard weight of just clarity. Someone pulls up an old group photo on their phone, from last semester, and they all laugh, remembering. But Ria, she just looks at it. Her eyes linger on the image. She sees the easy way they all leaned in together, that unforced closeness. She sees what was. There was no fight, no dramatic confession. No one pointed a finger or laid any blame. On the surface, everything was perfectly calm, but deep underneath, something had finally cracked. And cracks like that, well, they don't heal on their own. They don't just disappear. No, they only widen with time, silently, patiently, until someone falls through. Episode 3, Lines Will Be Crossed.